our 50th anniversary here at Mack Corporation. So welcome, and we're going to take you through our facility and show you how we manufacture our containers, show you how we manufacture our compactors, show you the paint rooms, and we'll show you the entire process.
This is the beginning of our fabrication department. It's kind of like an assembly line. Everything processes from this end, and when it goes out the other end, it's ready to go to the paint booth. This is our fabrication department where we have our shears, our press brakes on both sides. When we started 50 years ago, we had one shear, one press brake. We have 3 or 4 of each now. We have 2 10-ton cranes to move the equipment because everything is extremely heavy. We move everything that way. All the parts are built on the fixtures. One person, 2, 3 people make undercarriages. Another crew makes the sides, door, front. Everything goes in a rack. And so that everybody's not fighting for the crane during the day, we set them up at night. And when the welders come in the next morning, they've got a container already setting in their bay so they can begin work immediately.
As of now, we're probably going through about 2 to 3 full truckloads of metal a day. So that's with our compactors, our containers, with the front load cans, anything, etc.
This old building was built in 1964. When we first came in here, we only rented half this building, and they had a tarp across it, and the older gentleman that owned it said, if I catch you on the other side, I'll raise your rent. So, but he turned out to be a godsend. He actually sold me the building and financed it for me. Back when interest rates were 20%, he charged me 4%. So, kudos to that old fella, Harry Weaver.
This is all an assembly line process, so you've got your floors and you've got the sides. Everything starts slowly moving down. So you've got the beginning of the process. Now we're slowly moving down into where you're gonna start seeing things get pieced together towards finished product. So as you can see on the right over here, we have our staging area. So you're gonna have all your sides, you're gonna have the fronts, you're gonna have the backs, and then we slowly start piecing everything together with the crane.
Yeah, I don't know how many welding machines we got, but all the welding machines are mounted over each fixture and they rotate so that you're not dragging stuff across the floor. And we are in the process of putting in 550-pound spools of welding wire so we don't have to use those little 60-pound spools. So that will speed up production. Don't have to stop nearly as often. And because in a good day, we have to change a spool a day. With the big spools, we may have to do it once a week. This building is 35,000 feet, and this is one of 6 buildings that we have on the premises.
As he said, this is the original building, so this is the building that started the legacy and the growth of Mack Corporation. This is where everything began, so this building to us has a lot of sentimental value as well as, actual value.
And it's a tough old building. The concrete floors are 18 inches thick. So it will take like Timex, it will take a licking and keep on ticking.
So right here, you see floors, and you see all these floors are primed with water-based paint. One of the downfalls of water-based paint is it expires. So if we have paint that's about to expire, instead of wasting it, we'll go ahead and we'll prime underneath the floors with it. That's kind of how we continue to use our product in the most efficient way possible so we're not wasting anything.
And over here is one of our plasma cutters. This is all computerized. We have a drawing chips inside the brain of the machine, and we just pull up whatever diagram we want it to cut. And for example, it cuts, like on this undercarriage, we can cut the brackets, the solid nose cones, the big plates, the hooks, everything is cut right there. And it's all on a computer. We weld the roll-off containers out. As I told you, we have them set up at night. We weld them out during the day, and in the process, when they're done at the end of the day, then they move out of here over to the paint building. So everything processes this way.
So coming from the first building to here, we use all water-based paint. That's for our city's regulations, but also it's good for our employees because we're keeping everybody safe. So this is the most standard color you're gonna see us run. This is gloss black. That and our standard brown are the most common colors. So the paint process, we do 2 coats of prime and then we do 3 coats of paint. So for each container, you know that it's gonna get primed first, then we're gonna do the paint. And then kind of some tidbits, because I know that the roll-off line was closed. So a couple of the things that we do, and I've pointed this out a couple of times, but a couple of things that we do on our can that no one else in the country does. Right here, this is 4x4 by 1/4 inch top rail, and then you won't be able to see it, but underneath we got 6x2 by 1/4 inch main rail. So again, that's kind of some of the ways that we stand out from our competitors, and I think that's what's allowed us to be successful for the last 50 years. We're not willing to take shortcuts. We're wanting these containers to last 20 to 30 years. That's our goal. So like I said, top rail, main rail, 1/4 inch. Then this will be 10 gauge sidewall here. Then you've got 3/16 floor, which is all pretty standard. And then you've got 16-inch centers on our floor channel spacing. And then like we saw on John's dumpster, you've got the 2.5-inch hook bars here. So this is for stability, support, also to prevent the hook from jumping. So these are all things that we do on our standard spec that allows the can to maintain its integrity. All right, so here is the second paint room. These are both connected, and this is how we allow ourselves to paint the 15 containers a day. So we got 2 different paint booths. Now, because we had a bottlenose in the process a few years ago, we've expanded, we've bought another paint building, and we have our Refurbished department for our compactors. That way we're able to paint everything and get it out to you guys in a proper manner. So this is our self-contained compactor building. This is building number 2 if you look outside. So this will eventually be our stationary compactor building. We're in the middle of an expansion through our stationary compactor building, which we'll show you here in a minute. This is where we build all of our self-contained compactors. We're building roughly about 6 to 10 a week. So now we're gonna show you inside of a compactor so you can see how it operates. So right here, this would be more of a finished product. So this is the most standard compactor that you're gonna see in the industry. So this is a 2234, so 22 feet long, 34 cubic yard, self-contained compactor. It's cable lift. And then if you look here at the door, this is a double door doghouse. Now the way that this operates is pretty simple. You open it up, you would just hand feed your trash in here. You close the door, it's got a safety interlock, so if the door opens while the compactor is operating, it'll automatically shut off. And the ram will push all the trash this way until there's nowhere else for the trash to go, and then it'll roll up over the top.
A lot of other people they'll bring the side up out 1/4 inch and they just form it over. We actually use a structural tube. That way it will not spread out and trash get behind and mess up your cylinders and hoses. And this is all structural steel, 1x3 solid flat bar. So again, you don't get the flexibility. These units will last 5, 10 years more than everybody else's.
Every single container is inspected by my brother, Jay Cobbs. He's the quality control inspector. So everything's looked over, everything is tested before we send it out for shipping.
And also, we put a fire hose port on every one. So if there's a fire, all the fire department has to do is take that loose, connect their hose to it, and everything's contained inside the container.
Over here, you've got an in-production self-contained unit. So this is before it gets all the glitz and glam, so the primer and the paint. So this here is a little bit shorter than the other one. So this right here, I believe, is a 16-foot, 20-yard self-contained compactor here. And then this has got your ram, and then if you look inside over here, you'll have your cylinders. Now the way that these cylinders work, they scissor lift, so they scissor, and this pushes the ram this way until it fully extends. And again, it works the same as the 34-yard self-contained would.
And this one's usually in a place you don't have enough space for a bigger container. So we make anywhere from 12 feet all the way up to 24 feet.
Yeah, and then something else that we would like to show too. So talking about how we like to keep all of our parts and everything in-house. This is a ram. This is the actual compactor part of the compactor. We manufacture all of these in-house too.
It's built upside down.
Yeah.
And we have more metal, thicker metal than any of the other manufacturers that we're aware of. Presently, this is where we build all of our stationary compactors. As we mentioned before, we're expanding. We're selling more self-containeds than we are stationaries. So in the next 2 weeks, we will reverse these 2 buildings. The one you just went through, which is our self-contained building, will come back here. This will go up there. We build everything in-house. I mean, we build our own power units from scratch. We keep everything in stock. Everything is ready, available. Somebody needs a part, it can be shipped overnight.
Stationary compactors are your non-liquid waste, and these would be hooked up to a packer box. So the compactor itself, as in the name, stationary, it stays, it doesn't move. The building we just went through, the self-contained, you move the whole unit, you dump the whole unit, and then you bring it back. We're also going to show you here in a second our building expansion. This building was expanded 75 feet.
About 120.
120?
Yep.
And we're going to show how we've got more shears, more press brakes, we're going to have more employees, and we're going to be producing more containers, more compactors. We also we're finishing more containers back here as well. So usually this line here is filled with containers. So that's where we get to the 12 to 15 a day. So we do a few in the front, and then any of the other ones we need to finish, we'll get them done back.
We usually do 6 a day back here.
Yep.
And then the majority are in the main plant that you saw.
So this is a special kind of stationary compactor that we do. So this is what we call a Mac 400-2. So this would be a 4-yard with 2 cylinders. So this is more for your heavy duty needs. And if you were to go inside of here, you would see 2 huge cylinders that push the ram this way.
This was made more for heavy duty applications like crushing pallets and anything that's big and bulky. Hence the 2 cylinders to increase the packing force so we can get more in the container.
So this is the building expansion here. Like he said, 75 by 120 feet. So as you see, this is still a work in progress. It is today, September 21st, so we're hoping to have this building up and running in the next 2 weeks. We've got all of our welders here ready to go. We've got our plasma cutter here, and then like I said, we're gonna have more shears, more press brakes set up so we can produce more containers and more compactors.
The new shear and the new press brake will be delivered this week. They're already ready, waiting on shipment. Being we have this year, this is one of our service trucks, which we have 4 of those. So we go out and do compactor repair, and we probably do at least 200-300 mile radius. We have great service technicians that have all been trained in-house.
Yeah, we have 4 full-time service crews, and we normally respond within 24 hours. So that's something that we're very proud of, as a lot of companies cannot respond that quickly. Us having 4 crews, 4 trucks, we take a lot of pride in that.
With new shear and a new press brake, we eliminate having to bring everything from the main plant. So this building here will take care of both these buildings here and cut down on forklifts having to pick the metal up, bring it over here and stack it. We'll cut everything in-house for these 2 departments back here. As remember I was mentioning about the big 300, 400, well I think they're 500 pounds, the welding wire. This is what they look like, 550 pounds of welding wire, compared to the little spools that used to be 40 to 60 pounds.
So this is where we do all of our refurbished units. We acquired this building in 2019. So one of the other things that we do back here that's actually new is cart tippers. So this is a heavy duty cart tipper right here. We manufacture those in-house. These attach to stationary compactor units. So as you see, these have dual cylinders, and it also takes its own power unit. Now we also build all of our power units in-house. That is right next door. So all of our power units are attached to our self-contained, our stationaries, and our cart tippers. At the Refurbish department, we bring back all of our compactor units that are off of their rental or ending their rental agreements, so termination of rental agreements. And then we bring them in here. We go through all the cylinders, we go through the floors, the sides, we replate anything that we need to, we get everything polished up, then we reprime, we repaint, and then these go back out on another rental agreement. So most of the time these are 3-year agreements or 5-year agreements. If you look inside this is in the middle of a refurbishment.
This is our parts warehouse. I don't know if I said before, my current role here at MAC is I am the head of quality inspection, so I inspect all of our compactor units before they leave the yard and our roll-offs. But I used to be the head of the parts department, so I was in charge of ordering all of our parts, sending all of our parts out for repair, and this is the building in which we keep them. In the rest of the building, we are keeping a lot of our hydraulic cylinders. We have ones for a lot of our different machines. Over here we have our 220 and our 250 cylinders. we have our 2-yard cylinders. We have our 4-yard cylinders over here, our 3-yard cylinders, and then over here we keep our self-contained cylinders. These are the cylinders we use more often than not on a lot of our machines, as we make mostly self-contained. Obviously we do put out a fair amount of stationary units, but these cylinders right here, we use more than any other cylinder.
All right, so thank you for going on the virtual tour here at Mack Corporation. I'm Raider Hobbs. This is my brother Jake Hobbs. We appreciate you guys taking the time to tour our facility. And like we said, we do just a little bit of everything. So we do compactors, we do stationaries and self-contains, and then we also build all types of containers. So we do roll-off containers, hook lift and or cable. We do trailer containers, and then we also do a small amount of front load containers. So we do a little bit of everything here at Mack Corporation. We thank you for taking the time with us and celebrating our 50th anniversary.